just millennials, also Generation Z, partner, because there's been a survey that's just been done, and it has found that both millennials and Generation Zs are uneasy and pessimistic about their future. That's according to the survey that was done by Deloitte, and it's been carried out in several countries, including South Africa. The report shows that despite the current global economic growth, expansion and opportunities, these groups are not hopeful about their careers, lives and just the world around them. Well, to tell us a little bit more about it, we're joined in the studio by Deloitte's Human Capital Director, Tumelo Seaketso. Ms. Seaketso, good morning. Thank you very much for coming in.
Good morning. Thanks.
You know, when you talk about generations, we always try to find out which generation do I fall in and which generation does Uveka fall in. So we were checking which generation is what. So I'm a boomer, that's long ago, and she's a Generation X. But we're talking about the people of the now, you know, the current generation, that is millennials and the Gen Zs. Just overall, they seem to be disillusioned, kind of, overall, from what I've seen very briefly in your summary of the report. Why are millennials and Gen Zs sort of disillusioned with the way of the world today?
Thank you for having me. This is a generation that has been caught, you know, since they joined the working life. There's been economic disruption, social, political disruption, and these are the things that they believe that looking at that, they haven't seen any changes, neither from the political society, neither from the political side, neither from the economic dispensation. They're looking as much as a certain countries where the economic, there's some economic growth. If you think of the ones in the emerging markets in the other side of the world, they're saying we don't have any hope that the economy will even grow. We don't have, we don't believe in our political leaders anymore. And not only that, but we look unto business to help to come in and bridge the gap, but we're not finding that in business.
So the levels of trust in any institution, be it business or government, is very low, if it exists at all, among the people who were born between 1977 and 1995.
Definitely, we see that only 17% of them saying they are satisfied and believe that there can be a change done through those entities or those institutions. Instead, most of them believe that NGOs are far much better positioned to make a difference, obviously take into account also the ethical behavior of these other institutions.
I think it's very big for them in terms of issues of behavior for the millennials and the Gen Zs.
Yes, ethical issues are very important for them. Not only that, when they look at businesses, they look at businesses that have a bigger societal impact rather than just about profits. So for them, life is about cause and purpose. Hence, the NGOs for them are a better match.
Okay. Let's just look at some traditional stuff. I mean, when I was brought up, my father used to say, you must go to school, you must work, you must get a wife, you must buy a house, you must kind of those traditional success markers. Do the millennials and Gen Z still subscribe to those notions?
Interesting enough, the survey shows us that their interest at this point in time, their highest interest was to travel and experience the world when asked about those things. So whilst they have not set aside the fact that I still would want to make wealth or earn a salary, but the biggest thing that came globally out of all the millennials was to travel and see the world.
Yeah, I mean, there's a perception that millennials and Gen Zs are changing the world, they're disrupting things. How do they look at disruptive innovation? Do they see it benefiting them? Are they actually really themselves changing the mindsets or shifting things? Are they shift makers?
They are shift makers. Remember, they are creative, they are energetic, they are enthusiastic. The only thing that they're asking from business is prepare us, help us, and we will help you. We will bring our energy, we will bring our enthusiasm.
Do they look to business for the fourth industrial revolution?
That's their expectation, definitely. The first one institution they look at is the business, then they look at the educational institutions to say prepare us. Whilst also what I like is they also take ownership to say I have to develop myself. There has to be ongoing professional development, but I expect business to bring their part too.
Okay. Socially, what are your views about things like marriage and having children? What did you find? Did you check that out at all?
not marriage, but having children was one of the questions that came up, and it was low on their scale. Like I said, the first thing that came out was the ability to be able to travel and experience the world. Secondly, then was obviously in terms of a career, being able to grow in their careers, earning a salary. But in terms of starting a family, I think the question was not around marriage, but starting a family. It was really low on the list.
It's very low. So even marriage is not a big thing. Okay, now globally, very briefly before you go, what issues really are they interested in? I mean, for instance, in our country, we have high rates of unemployment. Even people who've got degrees or some form of qualification do not have jobs.
Interesting what you have said, the unemployment. When you look at the South African ones, unemployment and crime were the highest for them, whereas when you compare globally again, you find that the issue around safety, because globally you find also they are saying terrorism and crime, and the safety for them is the biggest thing globally. But if you take into South African content, it's not only safety, but it's safety and unemployment came as the highest in terms of
climate change feature at all?
Yes, climate change features as a third one, in fact. As indicated earlier on, they're looking for business that will make sure that there's a bigger societal impact. They're looking for government to address the issues around climate changes, hence the uneasiness and pessimism that you see, to say we are seeing none of these things addressed, neither by government, neither by the corporate, nor educational institutions.
Well, thank you very much for sharing with us some of the key outcomes of this latest survey that was looking into the millennials and Generation Z. That's Deloitte's Human Capital Director, Tumelo Seaketso. Partner.